Hello, Star Wars fans. Welcome to the Rebel Files of the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
And I'm Josh.
And this week, I work on the intro a little bit more.
I know. Keep throwing stuff out, trying to see what sticks.
Hello there.
Hey.
And this is the Rebel Files, where we talk Star Wars news, notes, responsible, sometimes irresponsible speculation, and we talk about just topics of the week or whatever. We have one video that's news and one video that we just have a discussion, open world discussion, to kind of tie into the last conversation about open world stuff.
Yeah.
This one is going to be about fan films. Now, this is kind of going to be a weird subject because what's happened in the last few weeks. Now, Star Wars Theory put out a fan film, and the backstory is they wanted to do this fan film using Darth Vader as the main part of it, and Palpatine and all that kind of stuff.
And he'd been working on it for a while.
Yeah,
He'd been teasing locations, so we'd all been following pretty religiously up until the release.
And he, to say, he did a really good job with it. Like, it was really well done. The guy who plays Palpatine does a really good job. But before he even started this process, he went to Lucas and said, hey, I want to do this fan film. Is it okay? And they're like, yeah, sure. Just don't monetize it, and it'll be fine. And so he used some music and everything, and so he uploads it to YouTube. It gets a ton of hits. It's really well done fan film. Mm-hmm. There's some really bad fan films out there. I love the effort, but editing. The story came out that Disney docked him for the video. And what it came out to be was that Warner Music, I think it was Warner Music, docked it because the music was too close to John Williams and original score.
Hogwash.
And so there was a big hubbubaloo on the internet about this particular fan film, but then fan films in general. Mm-hmm. Now, they figured it all out. Disney pretty much went to Warner Music and slapped them around with their ears and said this. He got permission from everybody. He did everything the right way. He went through it the right way and did it. So that got us going on a fan films conversation.
Yeah, and it did. And this kind of brings up something too. Is the gentleman who runs Star Wars Theory is a phenomenal YouTuber. He's very religious with what he does, and he speculates intelligently with what he does, and he talks about things because he kind of works between the lines of things that are out there that you go, huh. And he does a very, very great job on the program. It's been one of the long-running ones that I've always watched.
Right.
And Warner Music, they've kind of been a thorn in the side for a lot of people for a long time. Now,
we've gotten docked for stupid random things. And I don't know if it's necessarily Warner, but it was, we uploaded our live stream from Facebook from Ace Comic-Con onto YouTube, and as soon as I hit enter, we got a copyright infringement because of the background noise that was going on inside the arena at Ace Comic-Con. Yeah. So it wasn't even like we could do anything about it. Like, we could have gone outside and talked, but it was like, sometimes that stuff is just like,
yeah, it's really silly. I deal with it, honestly, just for clarification, I deal with it almost every day. Every week I have an issue where, because I work in media, I have to look at licensing. I have to deal with issues. I have to kind of fight the good fight and be, kind of there were licenses agreements here. This is, AP stuff and, things like that. So you always go into these scenarios. Warner Music has just always kind of been that they're very quick to jump on the, hey, you did something bad. And I mean, the end result was kudos for Disney for coming out and basically saying, no, he followed the right channels. He's good to do this, and kind of giving him that reaction.
Yeah.
So
he posted a video late last week.
Yeah, it was like when it came out.
Kind of talking about, like, this is what happened. Everybody needs to calm down. That kind of thing.
He was very eloquent about it, which I think anybody in that type of situation absolutely should be. He's done the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that got us going on the fan film conversation. Now, the first part of this conversation I want to have is, do you think there's a place for fan films within the Star Wars universe?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Because we didn't have much content. I mean, realistically, since let's face it, even before, YouTube and everything else, guys were doing these things with, good old-fashioned VHS recorders in their backyard.
8 millimeters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a place. To your point, there are some bad ones. There are quite a few good ones, and then there are ones that are like jaw-dropping, hit the floor like, my God, you filled in like a gap in the movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of those are my favorites. But I also love the slapsticky ones.
Yeah.
If there's one fan film character that stuck with me over the years, it was Obi-Wan Kenobi. OBGYN Kenobi. It was phenomenal, dude. That whole entire series was hilarious. I keep forgetting the name of the series now. I was trying to find it again for this show, and I couldn't find it. So gotta find it. If anyone remembers the series, put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Yeah, let us know. The thing I find about Star Wars, specifically fan films. Now, I have a poster. Oh, it's actually over there. I should have brought it over. But it is Star Trek Continues, and it is a continuation of stories inside the Star Trek universe from the original series.
Yeah, they're continuing the 5-year mission.
Right, and it's really, really well done. But they are fan films that they put together. There's all people that work in the industry, and they did 13 episode arc, and each individual episode was its own self-contained thing with some stuff thrown in like they normally would have done for the continuation of the series. And they had a lot of the original set and a lot of the original costumes and CBS.
Some of the original cast members.
Some of the original cast members were actually on, which was really cool. They cast it really well. They took it very seriously, and they would film like one episode in like a week or 2-week period in this warehouse in Florida, and they did a really good job with it. I appreciate fan films. I specifically appreciate fan films within the Star Wars universe because of multiple layers, but one of the big ones for me was after Revenge of the Jedi. It's not Return of the Jedi. I always want to call it Revenge because that's what it was supposed to be. Right. Return of the Jedi. From after that happened, there was no visual movies, shows. There was talks of stuff, and we got some cartoons and Ewok Adventures and some stuff that we really didn't want to watch.
Callback.
There was, and there's also a ton of books, but some of it was good, some of it was great, and some of it was off the rails.
Right.
Space jackrabbits.
Hardware Wars.
That's
a classic.
But I like satire, whatever.
Right.
but the fan films allowed them to fill in those gaps of needing stuff or continuation of stories or to tell a story from a visual platform from a character from a book or a comic book or whatever. So as we've gone along and we've gotten Disney's buyout and we got the prequels and we got the sequel trilogy and we've gotten a TV show that's coming now and we got new books and stuff like that, the idea that now fans can tell smaller stories within the canon. Now, they're not necessarily canon, but they take elements from the new canon and sit down and say, okay, what about, like, my favorite right now is the Darth Maul Apprentice. So it's a story of Darth Maul essentially beating a bunch of Jedis and then trying to defeat another Jedi, and she's the only one that's able to stand up to him. And then he takes her on as an apprentice because she uses her anger and stuff like that. And it's really cool. It's like 15 minutes done. And being able to tell that smaller, intimate story because your budgets are smaller is really cool. I love that. What I don't like, though, is when these fans go kind of off the rails. And even Lucasfilm at one point in time was like, you can't do anything pornographic. You can't do anything that's gonna hurt the brand, that kind of thing. But I do like that they are allowed to do this, and that's just something that just doesn't really happen. CBS and Star Trek. That's why I brought it up.
Right. Exactly. No, and it's absolutely true. I mean, with fan films, you have the option or you have the opportunity to delve into those dark, seedy little corners and aspects. It's not what's going on at the forefront of the camera. It's what's going on 2 miles behind the camera during these events, so you get the opportunity to play with those angles. And I was not a fan of the Darth Maul one.
Really?
It was okay. It was,
okay,
I guess
cool.
I guess my thing for me was I watched fan films for so long, in the early days it became, 5 guys in a forest with cloaks and lightsabers, and they were going at it. And there's nothing wrong with that if it's well done.
Right.
Within a plot line. But I started becoming this heavy fan of the ones that had no lightsabers in it.
Yeah.
They were very Rogue One.
Yeah.
In that. And, probably the one that struck me the most was actually, Rebel Scum by Blood Brother Cinema.
Yeah, I've heard of Rebel Scum. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it.
It literally,
right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you brought it up on the screen. It literally could be spliced directly into Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah.
They took the time. They did the actual motion capture with the droids and the AT-ATs. They used accurate costuming, and they even got the music, the scene editing, the segues, and the colorization accurate. And it wasn't in the forest. They actually had filmed this movie in the ice fields in Canada.
Oh, nice.
To mimic Hoth.
Okay.
And it was phenomenally well done. There's that. There's hold on, I gotta pull it because I forgot the name of it now.
It's funny if you put in Star Wars fan film into YouTube, like that's a hole you just gotta go right down into.
Days Past. It's a small one. It's not as known as much. Days Past.
Why does that sound familiar?
It takes place on Desert Planet. They don't really say which one. Shortly after the fall of the Republic. No,
okay.
No, Arrakis. But it's one of those exercises in kind of less is more. It can bookend very, very well into Rebels.
Okay. Yeah.
And then one of the more recent ones, this was actually in 2017. It was 2017 or 2016 it came out, was Odyssey.
Yeah, I've watched Odyssey.
That's the one
really
that's
good,
like Rogue One.
Yeah.
And the storytelling behind it, the visualization was freaking well done.
Yeah.
Like, you know me, I'm a huge Rogue One fan, and like you are. And when this one came out, I was just kind of like, I didn't see it on release. I saw it like a number of months after it had come out.
Right.
And it was just dynamo. Like, some of these young filmmakers who are doing these fan films, give them jobs. License them. Let them do some stuff.
I know that some of them, I'm not saying all, but I know that some of them actually do these fan films as their master thesis for their school and stuff like that, which is totally cool. And the fact that Lucas and now Disney, actually, I know that one of the things that they needed for the sell of Lucasfilm to Disney was that Lucas always felt that having the fan film or fan art enhanced the product of Star Wars.
And kept the longevity.
And it kept the longevity, kept it in the conversation and stuff like that. So when he went to go sell the company to Disney, he put in the stipulation that they need to be able to still be able to do this because that's part of why Star Wars is so much fun. We can sit here on a couch in the desert somewhere and have fun speculation and write up a script and go out into the desert and film it if we really want to, and it would be accepted if we do the proper channels. And that's the other thing that I really glad with what Disney did with the Vader one that just came out, and that they stood up for this guy who wasn't trying to make money on it. He was doing a passion project, and we all have passion projects that we want to do or have done or we're currently doing. Hence, we're sitting here talking on a couch in the desert. But that idea is that they allowed them to do that is really cool, and so
I agree. And Shards of the Past was a phenomenal film. I think it goes right up there with some of the ones like we just mentioned in terms of production value, how it can segue. And I thought that his timing of it was actually, and I know this was pretty much coincidental, but his timing of the release of Shards of the Past with the final Vader comic that we talked about a couple episodes ago was almost a perfect fit.
Yeah, that's actually one of the first things I thought of was like, did you do that on purpose? Yeah, knowing where the comic was going and stuff, and
beautifully done.
It was like and it adds between the comic and Lords of the Sith, the book Lords of the Sith, and you get to learn more and more and more about the relationship between Palpatine, Sidious, and Vader, and how Sidious was pretty much just poking at Vader the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
and then you have this fan film that comes out, which is perfect timing, like you were saying. And it's like I'm like watching this, and I'm just kind of like,
right, exactly.
This works.
And the best part about it is you weren't expecting the ending.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't expect it to go that direction and be like, where's my sequel?
Yeah.
Get on it.
Yeah.
Need it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure they're working on it, although I wonder how he feels about doing it after all the issues and everything.
I want to say I saw the note where they are going to move forward with it. They don't know the timing of it. I could be wrong, but the last note I saw a while back, it seemed like they were moving forward.
That's good. Okay, so last little bit we're going to talk about with the fan film stuff is, what is the fan film that you want to make?
Oh, sweet Lord.
I love throwing these. I'm not going to tell them what the question is.
No, that's great, dude. For a long time for me, I wanted, and I still do, I want some Old Republic stuff. I don't know if I'd make a fan film around it because I think it's starting to be done a little more. I think stop beating the Revan thing into the ground.
I think it's coming. I think the Old Republic story is coming.
Yeah, if we're gonna do that, I want to see Satele Shan. I want to see that dynamic. I want to see more Darth Malgus. You know, we all know we love Revan. He's a huge character. Obviously, we're fans of Revan, but I want to see Malgus. I really want to see Galen Merrick brought back into the fold.
Yeah.
I love the character. There was always that, you grow up with the whole, there R2, you have the Master of the Apprentice, Vader getting just so peeved off with the Emperor. And again, they're laying foundations for him. Right. They're showing his anger with the Emperor and how upset he was, that I would love it if they brought Starkiller into the equation.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a phenomenal fan film to do. But outside of that, they were going to do it with 1313. I want to see the underbelly of Coruscant.
Yeah. It would be really cool. The Crimson Dawn kind of thing that they were going to do with
the weapons traders. The people who funded the rebellion and the Empire,
I've had different... It depends on which way the wind is blowing that day and how I'm feeling. And right now, what I want is a side mission as a fan film. I want a side mission with Dr. Aphra and Vader going to find Sith artifacts.
That could be good.
It's in the comics. Mm-hmm. It's a big thing in the comics, but it's never been shown on film and done. And there's enough people out there who could pull off a good Dr. Aphra. It can only, they land on a planet somewhere and they go into a cave and they find, the plans for the Darksaber. I mean, that's not necessarily it, but something along that. Do an Indiana Jones homage with Star Wars characters as a fan film.
That could be good.
It could be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
And I think, pay attention, Disney, Indiana Jones, Lucasfilm. Not too hard to put these things together.
I would not be surprised if we get maybe 2 or 3 years into Disney Plus and we get an Aphra series.
I wouldn't be shocked.
There's too much in that comic, and there's too much love for that character not to have something.
Yeah, absolutely. And and the more they expand in the comics, there's more opportunities to start exploring different aspects of the universe. And I think it blows the fan film era wide open. We didn't really... I think Rogue One really inspired Odyssey, but again, that was an angle we hadn't really seen before. Again, you get lightsaber battles all the time, but the military struggle of the rebellion, and I'm talking, not the Jedi components, not, Rogue Squadron, not, the Ghost crew and things like that, but the average everyday troopers, who were the rebel equivalent of the stormtroopers, they were fodder in a lot of the movies.
Right.
But Odyssey took that to a new level because, it was like Apocalypse Now type stuff.
Yeah.
You're getting into that psychological dynamic of these guys who went to battle. They had nothing to gain. They weren't from any powerful line, and they just left their families behind to go hop in an X-Wing or to engage against the darkness. And that, for me, is that's what sells the mythos.
I'm as you're talking, I'm having
right.
Waldorf and the two old guys from the
Statler.
Muppets. Statler, Waldorf and Statler. In the cargo bay, as everybody's in New Hope, so you have New Hope going on in the background. So the battle fights or the guy sneaking out, and that it's two like platform guys. They've been in the Empire since they were like 6. They're old man. They're bickering back and forth. Like the comedy of the two of them, like, oh, we got another stupid junkie transporter. Oh, they're sneaking out. Oh, what's going on there? I don't know. Like just the bicker, like lightsaber fights at the end. They're like,
I've seen better shots at a dive bar. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Guess we're writing as soon as we're done with this show. All right, so that's so we obviously have talked about the fan film thing and have ideas about what we want to do, but we want to hear from you guys. Is there a fan film that you really appreciate and really like, and it's something maybe that we haven't seen? Because there's a ton out there, so if there's a good one, let us know. But 2, is there a fan film that has not been done that you would like to see? Just kind of how we were sitting here having a conversation and spitballing about different ideas of, Coruscant and Afra and our 2 old guys telling everybody they're doing it wrong story. I might have to write it. But let us know. Let us know if there's something out there in the fan film fan film universe that you would like to see that maybe hasn't really been done yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a lot of fun to kind of explore that conversation. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's angles that we could play with. And again, like to your point, we can't watch everything all the time when it comes out. There's probably some hidden gems that we've never seen, and I'd love to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know. That's our show, our speculation, fun talk, conversation show this week. Let us know what you thought. I'm going to sit here and keep pounding my hand, apparently. I need to go fight. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. It's really easy. And help us on Patreon. Help us, too, on our social media network. We're trying to build everything there. If you like us on social media and share it, then you can tell your friends to subscribe to the YouTube channel, who will then sign up for Patreon so we can get more people on the social media. It's a vicious circle of life.
Watch me. I like it when you watch. Watch him, too, just because he's there.
All that's in the description. And until next time, or for whatever reason we do this again, I'm one with the Force.
And the Force is unfortunately stuck with us.